Procreate and Blender with Grease Pencil are both software that have both 2D and 3D capabilities integrated in them at the same time. Which one is best? Do they even offer the same set of features and tools? Are they even comparable? In our video today, we compare both software to answer all of these burning questions. The software overview. Procreate is a raster graphics editor. What that means is that it is used for the creation and manipulation of 2D bitmap graphics. Simply put, Procreate is used for illustration, whether for drawing, painting, or even calligraphy. Recently, 2 major additions were implemented to the app: basic animation features and, most recently, 3D model painting. Procreate is only available on iPad and iPhone. The developer publicly reiterated that they are not considering Android support for the time being. Procreate can be purchased one time for $12.99 US. Blender is a free and open source 3D graphics editor available on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. But it is not really the focus for this video. Grease Pencil is. Well, what's Grease Pencil? Simply put, Grease Pencil is a 3D object in Blender. It basically is a tool that allows you to draw in 2D using lines, while being in a 3D space. In essence, it is a tool that bridges 2D and 3D. Both Blender and Grease Pencil, and all of Blender's other tools, are free and come at no extra cost whatsoever. Nice. Free stuff. The interface. Let's look at how each software presents its tools and features to a user. Procreate leans into functionality and simplicity in its presentation. It is in a dark gray color with wide detailing. It has just one toolbar at the top. That's where you'll find all of your tools. Tools and features in Procreate are under the hood of 9 icons. 4 are on the left side, next to the word Gallery, and 5 are on the right. These icons are a wrench, a magic wand, a squiggly line, and a cursor, a brush, a hand, an eraser, layers, and a circle with a color, depending on which color is selected. On the left side of the app, there are 2 sliders on a small bar. These 2 are for changing a brush's size and opacity. Between them is a square. Once clicked, activates the color picker. Underneath the sliders are undo and redo buttons. The center is for the canvas. All in all, Procreate does the most with the little space it has to work with, considering it is designed for iPads, and does so successfully, making the app look clean and not cluttered or overwhelming to navigate. Blender's Grease Pencil. Exploring Grease Pencil's interface would require us to explore Blender's interface, and, well, buckle up. Blender is a lot more feature-rich, making for a maximalist interface as opposed to Procreate's minimalist approach. The navigation of the software will not be intuitive and will take a lot of time and plenty of tutorials for you to get used to. The structure of the interface is as follows. We have the menu bar at the top, with many options on another bar just beneath this menu, such as the mode selected. These options change depending on what tool you have selected, and that goes for a lot of the other UI elements in Blender. On the left, we have a mini toolbar. It's not really a bar per se, it is a bunch of icons stacked vertically that will change depending on the mode as well. On the right are panels, which change depending on what is selected as well, but upon opening Blender for the first time, they contain the outliner panel, which hosts Blender's own version of layers, and a properties panel. On the bottom is a timeline, and lastly, the middle is for the 3D space you'll be working on. The tools and workflow. When it comes to both 2D and 3D workflows in the app, the most prominent tool for Procreate is its variety of brushes and their customizability. Make your own or download the countless brushes from other creators. These brushes are the ones that you can use to paint a 3D model. Other 2D specific tools in Procreate are grids in many formats, effects, transformation options in a uniform, freeform, distorted, or wrapped fashion, many ways to perform selection, and, of course, layers. These aforementioned tools can be used for 3D for the most part. Tools and features that are 3D specific include an additional tab with 3D specific actions such as showing 2D texture, which helps you unwrap a 3D object into a 2D flat plane, kind of like UV editing. Other features are the ability to paint through a mesh and to edit the lighting situation your model is in. Lastly, there is an option for you to see your 3D model in real life. By using the camera on your iPad, Procreate places the model in camera view. Other than that, painting a 3D model works a lot like regular painting. It's the same workspace and mostly the same tools. Procreate does not dip its toes too deep in 3D, but surely offers a fun and easy way of painting your models in 3D. Since Blender is a vast sea of tools, we will attempt to focus on Grease Pencil specific tools and workflow. Grease Pencil has many types of freehand brushes, such as the ink pen, pencil, and airbrush. It also has shapes and predefined lines and arcs and so forth. We cannot forget the indispensable eraser and fill tools. In order to do the actual drawing in Grease Pencil, you will have to switch over to the draw mode and jump back and forth between that and the object mode to be able to edit the position, rotation, and scale of the drawn object. In order to comfortably draw using Grease Pencil, different types of grids are recommended for use, especially the canvas type. Stroke placement and drawing plane are also other tools that can help you properly place your drawn lines into the 3D space without them disappearing into other meshes or being placed in an incorrect position. All in all, Grease Pencil in Blender is a great and valuable tool for the creation of gorgeous 2D art in a 3D space. The learning curve. Procreate has a very minimal learning curve. It is designed in a way that makes getting to know the ins and outs of the app very easy. Combine that with the popularity of the software, which directly and positively influences the availability of learning resources. For example, the community made a wealth of educational content for the app, whether tutorials on YouTube or engaging in discussions on Reddit. The developer also has great and well-organized manuals and guides for the app. Blender and Grease Pencil are no walk in the park. Getting to know Blender is going to take you a lot of time and energy and probably frustration enough to drive you insane. However, Blender has a great, huge community that's always willing to help around. If you thought Procreate was so popular that resources were abundant, Blender is probably 10 times better in that aspect. So while the software is hard to learn, the community more than makes up for it with all the tutorials and help available. The official manuals for the app are also just as great. They're organized and easily accessible. The final verdict. Like always, there is no real winner here if you really put any thought into both software. Why? Well, when it comes to the middle plane that is between 2D and 3D, Procreate is for those who, for whatever reason, just need 3D model painting with simple tools and a simpler interface. They don't want or need anything that is fancy or complicated. This corresponds to the concept of UV editing in a way. You're just painting a pre-existing model. Whether you made that model yourself or not is another story, but that is what Procreate is essentially offering you the ability to do. As for Grease Pencil, it is for those who want to do their 2D art, but with a 3D punch to it. It is a more serious process because it is not just about importing a model and doing some UV editing. It's about making that model from scratch, but with 2D tools. With that in mind, you can see how these two are for very different purposes and should be chosen depending on the user's needs. Too long didn't listen? Well, do you just want to paint over some 3D models to help you get a feel for 3D? Go for Procreate. Do you want to make use of your 2D art, but in a 3D environment to hopefully start a serious transition to 3D art as a 2D artist? Go for Blender's Grease Pencil. And that was that for our video. Which one do you prefer to use and why? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear what you think. With that said, we hope to see you in our next video.